the items on the agenda for this evening?
Sure, thank you. So the first thing on our agenda is a brief overview of, I guess, our next steps regarding the prospective vacancy, Office of Town Supervisor. Nick, will you walk us through this?
Certainly, Joe. Thank you. So good evening. There are really two options for the town board to address a vacancy that will take effect on June 15th. And first, the town board can decide to take no action and leave a position vacant. In that case, the deputy town supervisor, board member Solan, would perform the duties of the town supervisor in his capacity as deputy town supervisor. And although the deputy supervisor would perform all the duties of the supervisor during the vacancy, he would not formally serve in the office of town supervisor, and he would retain his position as council member. The vacancy in the office of supervisor would then remain vacant, but be filled at the upcoming general election on November 2nd. And then upon taking the oath of office, the supervisor-elect would immediately begin serving the office of the town supervisor. And then the deputy supervisor would revert and complete his term as a council member. So that's one option, leave the position vacant, deputy supervisor serves out as the deputy supervisor. Second option is the town board can appoint either a qualified resident or member of the town board to serve as town supervisor through the end of the year, December 31st. Under this option, the appointee serves for the end of the year, and upon taking the oath of office, the supervisor-elect would thereafter begin serving in the office of town supervisor. If the town board appointed a current council member to the position of town supervisor, their seat as council member would become vacant. And then once again, the town board would have the option of either appointing an individual to fill that vacancy of the town board, or allow the seat to remain vacant. If the town board filled the vacancy, the appointee would serve until the end of the year, December 31st, and the office would be filled at the upcoming general election on November 2nd, provided that the vacancy occurred before August 2nd, 2021. So a little bit of some dates there to keep in mind, but those are the two options. The town board cannot act on those options until after June 15th, when the resignation takes effect. And then it would be by a majority vote of the town board members then present, at least requiring a majority of 5, so it would be 3 votes. So that's a summary that outlines the options for the town board. So nothing to do at this time, and have to take action on or after the 16th of June.
Okay.
And we're still figuring out what we want to do and discussing, and we'll continue to discuss publicly our options and what our plans are.
But the business of the board will go forward. There will be no leadership void, in the board, and the town business will run as it's always run, effectively, efficiently, and without a hiccup. So,
right.
Exactly. Okay. Anyone have any other questions for Nick? Otherwise, we'll move on to our next topic. Okay. The next topic is a 9/11 Memorial Committee update. I apologize. Mike Wolfenson unfortunately wasn't able to join us this evening, but he did want me to just pass along a couple of key points. He's been working with his committee and creating something really special for the 20th anniversary. The ceremony this year, 9/11, is on a Saturday, and he would like the ceremony to start at 9:15. They will be adding an end of service bell at the time the towers fell. Very appropriate. The hill behind the memorial will be a field of flags that will be put out on Monday, September 6th. That's our vision right now, and stay up for a full week. He'll be seeking community help in placing and removing the flags. So the vision is to 3,000 flags representing the 3,000 souls lost that day. He's got speakers lined up. First responders will be placing yellow carnations at either the wreath location or the steel location to be determined, and Whispering Pines will be providing those flowers. There's a journal also that's going to be created with a 9/11 timeline and how each of our first responders responded along with the town response. I think he is still seeking input with citizen reflections. So if you remember 9/11, you have some memories you'd like to share, you should reach out to me or Mike Wilkinson to share them, to be part of our journal commemorating the day.
Jill, when are those due by? Do you know those submissions?
I don't know what,
That's
we'll take and
important.
put it in we'll put it in the e-newsletter. I'll check with Mike and see what the date is.
They've been requesting them for a couple of months now, and I
Right.
think the
Right.
response has not been quite what they were hoping that it might
Right.
be. So, I think we should maybe, if the town board members want to kind of, take the piece from the newsletter and each share it, to social media and so on, to try to kind of generate a little bit of support for this. People may not understand. Oh, Carrie's telling us it's June 30th is the deadline. People may
Well, that's important to
people may
know.
not understand that it's really meant to be not, that this journal entry is not only for first responders or even those who were necessarily in New York City when it happened, but really for the entire community to be able to reflect on what 9/11 meant to them. And it might be good actually for board members even to write up their own, Jeremy, I know you've done it a couple times in the past, and everybody has their kind of connection to it. It might be good to be able to print those as well. Just a thought.
Okay, Mike has
I think
also
knowing a
lined up.
deadline is important because,
Yes.
I like people like me, I put it off because it's not immediate. September seems so far away. So if we have a deadline, that may spur people just to do it.
Right. So June 30th, if at all possible. If you need extra time, I'm sure Mike would give you some, but it is going to print. So I think he wanted to have all of his ducks in a row. There's also going to be music, bagpipe, taps, the traditional. And we've had a couple of hiccups on the mechanicals on our 9/11 memorial. The recirculating pump is having some issues, so we're trying to work through that now and see what we can do about getting the whole fountain rehabilitated and working properly by the 20th anniversary, which is pretty great. Okay, that's all I have for that. The next item is the Chappaqua Children's Book Festival, and I seem to be doing triple duty because this was Dawn's adjourned anniversary dinner, so she was not available tonight either, but she had put in a complete proposal. Carrie, would you be able to just share the diagram? So as it turns out, we had actually had an opportunity to walk with the Chappaqua Children's Book Festival Committee, Chief Ferry, myself, Bart Carey, Bob Cioli, to actually look at the area. It's in light blue. This is actually an old farmer's market map, but we were just using it to show the parking lot. It's on the lower left-hand side. That pretty light blue teal area is the area where they're planning on having this sort of scaled down. Exactly right. Thank you, Carrie. Farmers market, Children's Book Festival event. As you can see, she's got umbrellas with tables. What she was thinking about doing was having each author have their own table and umbrella. This may change as the outdoor rules start relaxing. When she took and drew this up, this was before the outside capacity rules were relaxed to, I think it's now 500 for outside venues. At the time, it was only 200, and she was trying to be very mindful of how many people were coming and being able to regulate the numbers. I'm sure there's still going to be some capacity issues, and she certainly has areas where she can take and expand to. But the chief had taken a look at this spot, Bart from DPW and our town engineer, Bob Cioli, and everybody thought that it was a terrific area and we would easily be able to set it up safely in that area. There'll be plenty of parking in the rear area for for patrons. Also, obviously, anyone coming off the train, easy access. She was adopting the Lyndhurst rules, castle rules for, making sure that people stayed safe and crowd control. And October 2nd, Saturday, October 2nd from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. is what they had originally scheduled, and that's the date they're going to try to go with. They're thinking about just limiting the sponsor activity area to just 3 or 4 big sponsors with COVID safe activities. If the conditions change and they have other ones, they could change it along the way. But again, the area that they're seeking to use, they have plenty of elbow room to expand if as the event is planned, they're able to do that either with more vendors, more authors, or more sponsors. So they're looking for a thumbs up from the board.
Jill, can I ask you?
Yes.
What's the purple designation?
Oh, I'm sorry. So that was so again, this is another map that she had been using. So this was believe it or not, this was the original farmers market map. Remember when we used to keep the farmers? So that was our traffic circulation. So please just ignore all the other things. She was trying to do it on a sort of a catch as catch can thing, and this was the map that was available. So this is the areas that she's working with. If it turns out even that the farmers market is back at the circle, I'm not saying it's going to be, but even if it were to be, there is plenty of room to accommodate both of them in the fall of 2021. So it wouldn't be an issue. But as far as I know, the farmers market is very happy in their spot and back, and they've adjusted to it. And
if Dawn is aware and Madeline, if the book festival folks are aware that the farmers market will be going on in the South lot, and that they have the right to the skate park plus the first couple of rows there of going north of parking, and that that it tends to fill up to about the halfway point during the most kind of busy moments of the farmers market. I'm only concerned that when we say they're going to have sufficient parking, with the farmers market being, bustling on October 2nd, I would assume that's still the height of the farmers market, leading up to elections and everything like that. It's going to be a busy time. I just would want to make sure that they understand that they would be competing for parking.
Well, I mean, there are 1,300 spots in the back lot.
Overflow into Bell.
Yeah. If they could, there's also street parking, South Greeley parking lot. I'll speak to her about it. The other thing is that, she might be able to set it up where the vendors had been around the inner circle. If the farmers market is not going to be using that inner circle spot, this is just a spot that she had originally spoke about when she was looking at Book Festival 2022.
So,
if you recall when we walked out there.
So Jill, to Ivy's point, I know this is going to be smaller, but in years past, we have had a lot of cars come, because what's great about this is it draws people from all over, not just down. So I was also concerned a bit about the parking, because there's also the vendor parking too. It's not just it's not just the guests. And then the question was, and I was just, one of the things that's also great about the book festival when it was at Bell is in the parking lot is that you can see the rest of the town, and people did kind of take their strollers or whatever and walk through the town and see other restaurants. And I know Dawn in her proposal said she would try to direct people to town, but here it's very hidden where it's going to be. You're kind of coming in, parking, going to the festival, and you're probably going to leave. You're not seeing much of the rest of the hamlet, which I would love to be able to incorporate. In years past, Dawn did a good job trying to do that. Like we'd have Clifford on one corner and, other events to try to incorporate the town. So that's why I get what she's trying to do, but I don't love this venue for that specific reason. And did she say, was there a reason she didn't want to use Bell again? Is the school not making it available?
School won't let them do it. The school
Yes.
won't let the book festival use any of their property.
Right. So they're looking
This
for
is-
another home.
This is an issue we've dealt with in the past. We've always come to the aid of the book festival. I think, didn't we cover their insurance years ago? Because the school would not take them on?
Right. So we continue to do that. So, I mean, the issue is, the interesting thing is that she intentionally chose not to put this in the back parking lot, thinking that people would actually be closer to town.
Mhm.
And closer to, food restaurants. She's not having food this year, so there's not going to be any food trucks. She would be directing people to either going back to the farmer's market to get food to eat, or restaurants in town. She was looking for opportunities to either do partnerships with restaurants in town and other businesses to put in coupons or things like that. And, as you buy a book, your bookmark is, a 20% off of some restaurant in town, and go wander. But, it's interesting that you should say that, because she actually was looking for, her first choice was the rec field. And we can't have the rec field, ripped up and out of commission for so many days. So having said that was not sufficient, she actually chose this spot so she would be a little bit closer to town, and that people would see that, pizza station's right on the corner, and you're walking right out there, it's visible, the take it or leave it shop is there, and sort of, funneling people to that spot. I get what you're saying about, lack of visibility, but from the spots that they have available, this is the most.
Yeah. And would it be crazy to, kind of utilize the whole downtown and have authors at different corners and different areas?
I think the police are very concerned about pedestrian safety. And there not being lines formed, on, blocking streets and things like that. They've never done it quite like that before. And although this is certainly a smaller scale than what she's used to having, 40 is still a ton. It's a lot of authors.
Well, then you go to the table and you get the book from the author, and the author signs it, and then you collect all your books, and then you check out at a single location.
Yeah. But, it's interesting, one of the things that we had been thinking about, years past, this is a bit off topic, but, when we were thinking about the children's programming at Chappaqua and being able to take and sort of piggyback advertising for those upcoming shows with this event. So it may be something that we want to talk to Rec about, we had that amazing children's lineup already to go. And I think we got through maybe just the paper bag players before we had to cancel.
Mhm.
So maybe we want to take and resurrect that series and see if we can, raise some interest from the patrons that, it's great to come to Chappaqua for the Chappaqua Book Festival, but, there are things going on all year long for our kids here. And this is some of the stuff. If you recall, some of the events were children's author series, where there was going to be lectures and interactive stuff with book authors. So, sort of open the Chappaqua up to another generation to take and see what a fabulous venue it is. Just a thought there. Anyway, so Dawn was anxious to get the town board's blessing on the date, because she needs to be able to take and put things in motion. Evidently, even though it seems like it's far away to us, it's actually right around the corner for her and for the amount of planning she has. So any thoughts? Thumbs up, thumbs down?
I have no objection.
Yeah. Do we know when they were proposing? I know the Rotary really wanted to do Community Day. Do you remember what?
I don't have a date on that. I have not heard about that. That's so interesting. You should ask. Somebody else asked me that.
Yeah, I've gotten a number of questions about it, and I haven't gotten anything either.
I have it. September 18th.
Oh,
September 18th.
September 18th. Thank you.
Eileen told me it was September 18th. But anyway, I'm cool with the Children's Book Festival on the town.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm good with the date.
All right, so this is October 2nd. All right, we'll put it in our books. Terrific. Okay, Volunteer Theater. Back again. We had a study start with them last year, but they're back. And they originally were going to wanted it to be a Thursday night, but our fields are busy Thursday night, and so it was a conflict with what was on the rec field. So I asked them if we might be able to do a Friday night. They agreed, so it's Friday, July 20th at 6:30 at Recreation Field. At our rec field in Chappaqua, with our rain venue being Chappaq. Chappaq's already reserved for it. And so the 2021 performance fee is $2,500. We had already paid $1,500 last year to be applied for this year. So it would be a total outstanding balance of $1,000 if the board wants to proceed with this.
And I think that the theme is what? It's a Midsummer Night's Queen instead of theme, and they're doing the music of Queen,
which is really cool.
Set to A Midsummer Night's Dream.
Kind of like Mamma Mia. No.
Yeah. Well, that's ABBA, but yeah.
Yeah, same sort of thing. Yeah. Okay, are we good to go with that? So we're starting to fill up our summer schedule. This is great. Okay. Wonderful. July 30th. All right, here it goes. The next is authorization to appoint the review committee for the refuse and recycling RFP. Not so as exciting as the other things we've been talking about, but necessary nonetheless. So we have issued our RFP for our next 7-year contract for refuse and recycling for the town. Our current contract is up December of this year. As part of the review process for the RFP, there is a committee that is formed between staff and members of SAB. So we are recommending to be appointed Dick Goldsmith, Jennifer Mepps-Flagg, myself, Rob Deary, Mike Sicali, and Bart Carey. So that's going to be before you tonight. I'm sorry, any questions on that? Good. The next thing is the Inningwood Pump Station. So this project has been done for a while. We're finally getting the paperwork and all of our ducks in a row on it to be able to close it out. So this was an upgrade to the Inningwood Pump Station to provide for a generator backup so that when the Croton Reservoir went offline and we were forced to take water from the Catskill Aqueduct, we would be able to access the water that's 300 feet and change down. We've done that successfully now for a couple of trial runs. This is the closeout of the actual electric that was done by D&M. It is, let's see, variable frequency drives, generator installation. And so it's, let's see, actually, oh, this is, yes, so this is the, yeah, D&M Electric. This is actually one of the change orders that we really like. The 2 change orders actually reduce the overall contract by $10,960. It doesn't often happen, but every once in a while we take it when we can get it. So that's great. So those are just change orders that the town board has to approve. So again, we can do the paperwork and close this out. There still is going to be engineering invoices that are associated with this project that will be coming shortly to the board as well. And because this project is part of the Millwood Water Treatment Plant operation, Pleasantville will be sharing in the overall cost of the project. The next thing is authorization to hire Hazen and Sawyer for additional engineering services for the Millwood Water Treatment Plant replacement. Boiler replacement, sorry. So this is for oversight work on this project. We had always anticipated that there would be a third-party review of the installation, and we lost our initial third-party reviewer, and so Hazen and Sawyer is stepping in. There is money allocated for this review process. There had been $35,000 set aside for various engineering oversights on DPW projects, And the cost of this $6,539.81 would be part and parcel of it. Wait, this is part of it. I'm sorry, that's the wrong one. I'm sorry, that's for work not to exceed $5,000 to Hazen and Sawyer for oversight. Okay. The next thing is the Upper Minkle Dam grant update. So as the board is aware, the board had decided to decommission the Minkle Dam. We engaged Tectonic. They were the successful bidder after we issued an RFP for the engineering services. We are asking the board to delay the project because we are waiting for the results of several grant submissions. And if we lay out the money before the grant is awarded, we will not be reimbursed for it. We are waiting for a no objection letter from the DEC, which we have not yet received. So I'm just letting the board know that it's our intention to delay the project. Tectonic is perfectly fine holding the cost and everything else the same while we wait for our grant results to come in, but it's going to be another 4 to 6 months before we get this, which will kick the project another year over. But we're just waiting for the DEC to let us know that they have no objection for us waiting. The DEC has been rather anxious for us to move ahead with this project, and not for lack of trying on our part, but it is significant dollars that we would be losing if in fact we get the grant and we've spent the money ahead of time. So we're hoping for their indulgence. I'll keep the board posted on that.
Are there any risks to the town of delaying?
Well, it would be the DEC finding us, which is why we're asking for a no objection letter from them.
But there's no health and safety risk to the town.
No, there are no. We are continuing our required monitoring from the DEC, and obviously if there was any change in circumstance, we would step in and take remedial measures immediately. Tectonic has been retained by the town and has been doing routine maintenance and monitoring of the dam to make sure that there is no health or safety issue. So it's just the DEC not being patient with us, and so we're hoping for to get on their better side. We just don't want to get hit with fines. So that's all I've got on for the discussion items. There are several administrative items: adoption of minutes, authorization to approve transcripts, again through Veritech, authorization to continue. This is just an annual service contract that we have with the handheld water meter reading devices. Authorization to purchase recycling, the garage door replacement, a street opening bond release. And there is an agreement, a memorandum of understanding with Newcastle United for Youth. As part of the federal grant that we received, they need to update their signatures and their memorandums of understanding every several years, and they can't have anything that's older than 2020 in their files. This was a 5-year grant that we received, and so their original paperwork predates 2020. They just need to have it re-executed. There's no change in circumstance at all. We act as a pass-through for them, and it's been a great association. So that this is just, it's ministerial paperwork. The oversight went from Department of Health and Human Services over to the CDC, and so they required a whole new list of paperwork.
And in fact, Jill, what we're doing now, we're applying now for year 6. So we've had the grant for 5 years, and now we're applying for additional funding.
Yeah. So we're signing up for another go around. I didn't think that they had it in them, but they do. So
volunteers needed, I think.
Yeah, volunteers needed. They will be coming to the board in June to talk to the board and just update everybody on what the projects are that they've been working on and how they perceive it going forward. We've had a dynamic trio of Lee Barth, Victoria Goodman, and Leslie Kuhn, who have just worked tirelessly to get this coalition up off the ground and keep it running. But I think they're ready to take a step back, and I think that there is a way to have them gracefully step back out of their role and for the component parts to basically take on their respective roles without the three of them so actively involved. And we're going to see what we can do over the next year to take and sort of transition them out and still have the police, the rec, and the faith portion of the coalition just run with it. So I think we think it's going to work. We'll share it with you. And the last things we have on the agenda have to do with the authorization to hire laborers that we spoke of earlier, authorization to hire a seasonal laborer, and a couple of resolutions regarding 2 local laws. Lauren, have we received any comments from the public for the 2 public hearings that we closed last week that we left open for comments?
No, we have not.
All right. I guess then we are ready for our resolutions.
Anybody want to do them or want me to start? All right, seeing all the hands. I move to authorize the hiring of Michael Arguila to position of labor within the Department of Public Works Water Unit at the annual salary of $48,055.31 with a start date of June 14th, 2021, which is subject to a 52-week probationary period and contingent upon successful completion of the pre-employment exam.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I move to authorize the hiring of Kyle Brown to the position of laborer within the Department of Public Works Highway Unit at the annual salary $48,055.31 with the start date of June 14th of this glorious year, which is subject to a 52-week probationary period contingent upon, once again, successful completion of a pre-employment exam.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I move to authorize hiring Fernando Ross to the position of a seasonal laborer with the Department of Public Works Water Unity at an hourly rate of $15 per hour effective June 21st, 2021.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. I move to adopt a local law amending Chapter 123, Section 21 concerning Old Pines Bridge Road to turn train station traffic flow from one-way to two-way.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hey, Jill. I don't remember. When did we say it would go into effect? Like 2 weeks from now?
We were doing it for June
First,
1st.
Okay. We should probably put that on the electronic sign and
Yeah,
give everyone a
I
heads up.
thought we wanted to make sure we had all the signage in place.
we actually we have the signage in-house. We have received it. So
Okay,
it's just
good.
a matter of putting it up, and Bart will take and put signs over it, and we'll put it on the electronic board, and we'll just, we'll do a soft opening.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
the
let's
parking's
make
all over
sure
there.
the chief knows to have people there, especially during the farmer's market, to make sure that someone's actually directing traffic so that, because people will be a little confused, I think, initially, despite the signs.
So it'd be like June 5th would be the first one that gets effective, right?
Yeah, I mean, we'll put it into effect, and then what happens is that, it's basically a soft opening. You've got, signs up there, and we'll put, cones indicating two-way traffic so that people see it's both ways, and they'll be out there with the paint to take and paint over. The parking places, the parking spots leaving, so that we make sure that we have enough room for the, two-way traffic exiting and the one-way in.
Thanks, Jill. I move to designate 10 Center Street Community Center as a Newcastle historical landmark.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Woo.
I move to appoint the following individuals to the review committee for the refuge recycling RFP to be effective for the period required to complete the task. Jill Simon Shapiro, Rob Deary, Bart Carey, Mike Sicali, Jennifer Mebs Flagg, and Dick Goldsmith.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Do you want me to just do this, Lisa?
Yeah, just finish it out.
I move to authorize the town of Newcastle to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the Newcastle United for Youth, which shall be effective from May 15, 2021 until terminated by mutual agreement.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Jill, do we need to do resolutions for like the show?
Yeah,
and-
right. I was just asking Lauren about the Lawn Chair Theater. We should definitely have a resolution for them. I don't know that we need a resolution tonight for Dawn. I can do it for next time. Can we just do one for actually, if you don't mind doing, we should just do both of them.
Okay, I move to approve Lawn Chair Theater's use of the rec field on
July 30th?
July 30th, thank you, for a cost of $1,000 in addition to the $1,500 carryover from 2020.
Second.
In favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Did
Do you want to
we
do
get-
the,
I'm sorry,
go ahead.
Did we hit all of the administrative items that needed to be approved above?
Right?
I was gonna hold them over for the consent agenda next week.
Oh, okay,
That's fine.
okay.
Yeah, so do you want to do the book festival for Dawn? Or I'll just let her know that it's approved and it's just really authorization to use town property. And then we would also do.
So let's do it formally if that's what we need to do.
Yeah,
I
we should.
think we approved the date, right? Do we want to look at all anymore about the venue, or you think that's really the best spot?
I know she discussed it with Chief at Bart.
Yeah, I mean,
so
we
I'll
all had
trust
a
their
meeting
judgment.
out there going through it.
I'm just with Ivy. I'm a little worried about the parking, especially with the farmer's market, which she's right. It does, it gets pretty full, that back lot.
Well, then maybe we need to ask the school if they would allow additional overflow parking at
Parking
Bell
there.
School.
Well, I mean,
They wouldn't be using their fields. They wouldn't be using, that was their objection. They didn't want the tents, the big tent on the field. But certainly that would give a lot of, overflow parking. And it would also, keep the authors and everybody else, usually we park the authors at town hall and sort of keep them away from the rest of the book festival. But
Right.
I mean, what has happened in years past when we had the full size book festival and the farmers market?
Well, the farmer's market was usually in the circle, right?
Right.
And then a lot of people really parked to the right, and where the current farmer's market is now, and then you had the entire back parking lot was really book festival people. Like, we directed people back there.
ultimately, I think people are going to realize they're going to either park where there's spot, which are still going to be ample spots, or they're going to park at the school at Bell. I don't see. I think ultimately it should be all right. And
Yeah, if we
Chief
can
decide,
that would be great for parking.
decides.
And then I feel like people at least see the town to maybe direct them different to our restaurants and other things.
Yeah, I do know that she was looking to create partnerships with the
Yeah.
restaurants in town so that she could take
Yeah.
and direct people, because she's not having any food this year. So that was,
Right.
a huge deal to be able to, to send people someplace. All right. All right. So do we feel comfortable with them granting? Okay. Then can we just have a quick resolution authorizing, granting permission for them to use town property, August 2nd, 2021 for the book festival from,
October 2nd, right?
yes, October 2nd. She wanted it from
So
10
I
to 4,
by
but
the time-
I move to allow the Chappaqua Children's Book Festival to use town property on October 2nd for the, where indicated, and, provide insurance and such other information as required by council and the town.
we provide the insurance. It's okay.
Okay.
It's okay.
Whatever else they need as required by the town.
Okay.
We give a
Sounds good,
second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Move to
Oh,
adjourn.
good. We're done.
Second.
All in
I
favor?
was sort of a question. All right, move to adjourn.
Second.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Good night.
Thanks.
Jerry.
Okay.